Hello YouTube, Kryptonite here and welcome back to another episode of the Car Mechanic Simulator series. So, I've been doing some off-camera grinding to get my levels and some money up. So, we're now level 5 and we've got access to the junkyard, but before we head over to the junkyard and see what hidden gem we can find, customers just turned up with their vehicle and under inspection they're not exactly sure what's wrong with it, so we've got some investigation to do to see what we can find. I've got a funny feeling this is going to be a pretty big job. Let's head over to examination mode. We'll get all this examined and we'll see what it comes up with. So that's the examination done, and so far we've found quite a bit wrong with this vehicle. But before we go into the status of the car and have a look, I think we should do some diagnostics with the additional tools. So we'll head over and get that done, and then we'll have a closer look at what's wrong. So after a fuel pressure test, it seems that we haven't got anything wrong with the fuel system, so that's a good sign. Head over and check our tyres quickly. So far the tyres look all good. Wasn't expecting anything wrong with them, to be honest. They will check out okay. Now over to the electronics. See what we have here. So electronic wise, we're looking okay as well. Not perfect, but workable. Next is the compression test. So this is, I've got a sneaky suspicion we're going to find a few bits wrong with the compression test. We shall see. So the compression test has found quite a few faults with the camshaft and pistons, so they're going to be nice interesting jobs to get our hands dirty on. And finally we'll just give it a scan with the OBD scanner. Okay, so the OBD scanner has revealed some problems with ignition cores and spark plugs, which doesn't surprise me considering there was problems with the pistons as well. So they have coincided together. Okay, so let's have a closer look and see what the state of the car is. So we've got plenty of engine components to deal with. They're going to be nice and in-depth. We've got some drive shafts, some wheel bearings, and we've got even more parts not discovered. So I'm guessing after we sort the engine components out, we will be giving it a test drive to see what else there is. Let's get this into the workshop. And let's get the engine sorted and up and running so we can at least give it a test run and find out what's wrong with it. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna drain all the fluids, as it's going to have quite a bit of engine work done to it, so I might as well drain all the fluids and put fresh ones in when we are all sorted. Sounds like a good idea to me. Get all this drained. There we go. That's sort of fluids drained. Have another check and see what we've got to do first. So I reckon we should get all the engine components done. I'll mark all these up. Mark the ignition cores as well. And then we'll sort the wheel bearings and the sway bars out after. I think we'll get straight into the big engine components and get them all done and dusted. So we're going to have to strip quite a lot of this down first of all. Let's get these ignition cores removed. We are going to need 2 ignition coils, so let's just go back to here. I've got plenty of things that I need to get rid of, that's for sure. Alright, let's add an ignition coil to the shopping list. I'm going to sell all these parts for the moment. All done. We'll open that case after. Let's get the engine head cover off. So that's the engine head cover off. So it looks like we're going to have to take off both camshafts and we'll get access to all of that. Let's get this timing cover off first. Give us access to this cam gear that we need to add to our shopping list and we need to remove. To move this one first. Get the timing chain off. And then we can take this gear off here. And that's that bit sorted. So then we need to strip the other side out now. Got to take the timing cover off. Take the idle roller off first. And the belt. Crankshaft pulleys off. And that gives us access to the timing cover. Got a bit of a rusty bolt down there. Give that a spray. That's the timing cover off. So belt tensioner. Get the belts off, get the pulleys off. And that will give us access to the camshafts finally. So that's all that lot done. We're probably going to have to take off this idle roll as well, so we'll just take that off. Just in case we do, I've got a feeling we might. So we need to get all of these camshaft caps off. We'll get them off. We'll add the camshaft to the shopping list quickly. Going to need a couple of spark plugs as well. We'll take them out in a moment. Got another seize bolt here on the crankshaft cap. Lovely. So that spark plug's all right there. We'll add one to a shopping list anyway, so we need two of them. That one there is a bit dead. And that spark plug there needs changing as well. So we'll get rid of this camshaft out the way. Gonna have to take the manifolds off as well. Get the head off to get access to the pistons. Quite a lot of work needs doing to this engine. As we're progressing through the story missions, it is getting a lot more in depth. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Can't wait to see what else they have in store. Take the intake manifold off. We'll have to take the throttle valve off first. That's not too bad. It's just 4 bolts that hold that on. That's nice and easy. That's off. Intake manifold off. Got another rusty seize bolt here. Give that a bit of a helping hand. And that's the intake manifold off. Take the fuel rail off as well. Get them out of our way. Lovely. Now we can take this camshaft out. And that gives us access to the head a bit more. So we just got the exhaust manifold to take off. Got to take the turbocharger off first. Got another rusty bolt there. That's freed off quite nicely. Now the exhaust manifold. We've got another seized bolt here as well. Perfect. Exhaust manifold is off, and now we can take the head off. So that gives us access to the top of the pistons look. But first of all, we need to obviously take them off the crankshaft, which we will be doing from underneath. So we need to get the car up on the lifts, drain the oil out of it, and then once we take the sump off, that should give us access to the crankshaft there. Oil drainer, that's what I was looking for. Nice big job to start the day. Get this oil drainer out the way. And there we go, look. So we take the oil pan off. Or as we like to call it here in the UK, the sump. Oil pan, sump, same thing. And there we go. That gives us access to the bottom of the pistons. So we need to take this rod cap off here. The two middle pistons that we need to change. So that's that one, and that's that one. And then we should be able to pull the pistons straight out. So we'll drop the vehicle back down now. And here we go. That gives us access to take out the pistons of the cotton rods. So we'll add them to the shopping list. Take that one out. Take that one out. Now let's go shopping. So we don't need that or that. That was for another job. So the ignition core, let's get the electrics done first. I needed two of them, one of them. Buy two just in case. Couldn't remember exactly. I know we need 2 spark plugs. So that's fine. So let's go back to the car parts. Don't need ignition cord. Don't need spark plug anymore, so that's fine. Buy the cam gear, camshaft. And now for the pistons with the chrome rods, we need 2 of those. So it's not costing us too much money, which is good. I like the sound of that. So we should be able to rebuild all of the top of this engine, and then we'll go back underneath and we'll get all of that lot built back up underneath. That one needed changing to 100%, so that one's fine. Get all these caps back on. Okay, that's all the top built up. All the spark plugs, ignition coils are back in. Let's get the rest of this engine built up. New gear on there. Pop the chain back on. Oh, I would say we need a new timing chain. That does not look healthy at all. So where is the timing chain gone? Let me add that to the shopping list. What else have we found? Camshaft are done, spark plugs were done. Rod caps, we need 2 of them as well. I might as well add them to the shopping list while we're here. So that's them done. Buy a new chain. Does not look healthy at all. So it's a good job we spotted that. Wouldn't want to be putting all that back together to find out we needed to strip it all apart again. Looks like we've got a problem with the clutch as well, so we'll most probably do that next. Get this intake manifold back on. We should be able to do the majority of the clutch from underneath. So once we've put the rod caps on and the oil pan back on, we can sort the clutch out. Okay, so that's the throttle side done. We need to put the fuel rails back in. If only I could remember how I took them out in the first place. Should have done them first really before we put the manifold back on, but not to worry. We can do that from here. Let's get the right angles. We should be able to do that nicely. And there we go. Job done. So now we'll flip over to the exhaust side. Got all the exhaust manifold back on. A few bolts to do here. And the turbocharger back on. And then flip over to this side. We'll get all the cam gears back on. all the idler pulleys and the belts. And that will be the top side of the engine all done. Which isn't bad going, it didn't take us long at all. Which is nice. It's nice that it hasn't taken us too long. Timing cover back on. A few bolts to bolt that back on. Crankshaft pulley on. We'll get a belt back on. And the last idle roller. And that is that bit complete. Let's get the vehicle back up in the air now. We'll do the underneath. So we'll get all this put back together. Need to zoom in a little bit. So we'll get the crankshaft bearing cap back on. Seem to be taking that one off, which is not what I wanted to do. So I didn't really want to take off the crankshaft bearing cap, but on further inspection, it's at 3%, so it will need changing. So I'll probably add one of them to my shopping list. I wonder how many more are damaged. See how many more we can sort of pull off. I think it's probably going to be these two, to be honest with you. That one definitely needs doing. This one probably needs doing as well, to be honest. Yep, so all three of them need doing. Good job we taking them off. Spotted them quite nicely. Get rid of that, we can get rid of that. We need 2 rod caps. There possibly might be more, but we will have to double check. We need 3 of the crankshaft bearing caps. That's that done. These 2 rod caps. Oh, that one looks a bit black, if I'm completely honest. So we might need one of these as well. We'll get this one off and see what percentage this one comes at. Yeah, that one needs doing as well. So for argument's sake, we might as well take this one off as well. And we'll have to buy another rod cap. That one's not too bad. So let's get another rod cap bought. And there we go. So let's get these rod caps back on, I reckon, first. Just get a better angle here. So that one can go back on. Okay, so that's all the bearing caps and the rod caps on. So we'll get the oil pan back on. That's the oil pan on, and that is that part complete. Let's head over and see what we have to do about getting this gearbox off. If I can get the right views and the right angles. So the starter we'll have to get from the engine bay, so we'll drop it down. We'll get this starter motor off. We'll start getting this clutch done. Starter should be nice and easy to get off. That's that bit done. And we can't see what else we need to take off, but we will have a look from underneath again. We spent quite a bit of money on this job, but didn't be too much of an issue. So the drive shaft has got to come out for us to take the gearbox out. To get the drive shaft out, got to take off all of these wheels, etc. So we'll get these rims off. Okay, so the front wheels are off, and now we can get the front drive shafts out. I want that one done. I'll head over to the other side. Crawl around here. Oh, where are we? There we go. Drive shaft, give that bolt a bit of a lube. And there we go. That's that part nice and easily done. So we'll head back under the car now. And we should be able to get a better angle on the front drive shaft. So we'll add that to the shopping list. We need one of them. Take that off, and that gives us access to the gearbox. So we'll get the gearbox out, and then we'll see what problems we have with the clutch. So by the looks of it, it's the flywheel. That seems to be the problem. It's quite a bit rusty. We'll get rid of the clutch release bearing. Percentage seems good on that. Pressure plate. Probably going to need the clutch plate and the flywheel as well. Yeah, clutch plate doesn't look too healthy, so we'll add that to the shopping list. Yeah, 4%. Definitely not. We'll add the flywheel as well. And that's at 14, so yeah, that was a good call. So let's do some more shopping. Don't need the rod caps for them anymore, so we'll get a front drive shaft, get a clutch plate, and we'll buy the flywheel as well. Well, that's an expensive flywheel. 500 credits, but not to worry. Got to spend money to make money in this game. Okay, so that's the gearbox all back together. The brand new front drive shaft is on. So we're going to get the rest of this all built up, ready to rock and roll. So we'll get these two sides back on as they should be. We'll put the wheel on while we're here. Pop over to the other side. Get this bit done. Part mount. Get the right angles to see what I'm doing properly. Bolt on. And that is perfect. There we go. That's the engine all done. So let's have a look and see what else we have to do now. So we've got hub bearings, we've got sway bars, but all of the major engine components that we saw are all sorted. So I think we should leave that episode there, and we will continue with the rest of it on the next episode. And then we will be heading over to the junkyard to see what magical gem we can find. Hopefully we've got enough cash after this job as well. So that will be exciting. So if you like this episode and like the series so far, drop a like down below, guys. Your support is much appreciated. If you want to continue keeping up to date with the series and more tutorials and hints and tips, then make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my next videos. And thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.